Hey Sunshine, and welcome to the Dewless podcast, where we uncover and discover who we are through creating space to reconnect with ourselves. I'm your guide Bria, an involvement and life coach for moms. The key to you living as your authentic self is to evolve and witness. Now is the time to have courage and embrace change. Your relationship with yourself is the only true constant. Observing yourself throughout seasons of your life will allow you to always be in alignment with the desires of your heart. Before we get started, I have to remind you of your influence because you are an inspiration.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to the podcast. We're here in my kitchen today because, that's just the vibe today. As you can see, I'm having dinner. I am comfortable. Who says you need to podcast with pants on? Welcome to the Dewless show. This is Bria. This is me. This is the real. And welcome back to season 3 of the podcast. I'm so excited for everything I'm going to share and that's going to unfold during the season. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm not even sitting down today. That's the energy that we're in while we're podcasting today. If it's your first time listening, hi, my name is Bria. I'm an involvement and life coach for moms, like the intro of this podcast said, and I'm just happy to be here with you. And how did I not tell you guys happy Monday already? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I feel so settled and relieved in this space. And as I was dancing and I did this huge journaling exercise before I got onto today's podcast and recording, and I journaled and everything came out, and I just literally saw myself, and then I was like, let me get ready to record this episode. Let me get in the vibe. And I was listening to music as Bria does, and this song, I've been feeling this song and this artist for a while. I will leave the artist's name in the description with the song and all that stuff because I don't want to butcher his name or their name. I don't know their pronouns, but I don't want to butcher their name. But the song is called Comfortable, and I've been listening to the song on repeat. Let's say it's repeat, and I just want to share the lyrics that hit hard for me. Hit hard. The lyric says, "How many times do you have to see me before you see me? How many times do I have to tell you that I'm cool with all you're giving me? There's a fine line between loving you and loving you freely, and if I cross that line, then I will answer you dearly." And so basically, this song is talking about some type of relationship and how, I just want to be comfortable with you. I just want you to match my energy, and I just want you to know that I'm cool. Listen to the song. The name is called Comfortable. The artist is there. Go check it out. Get into it. And if you like that song, join us for Embody and Body on Saturdays. We do weekly community Embody and Body where we tap into the body through music and uncover things like I'm about to share. So I was sitting here and listening to the song, right? I was listening to the song, and my inner child, as I was just journaling, we were sitting together, and I don't really want to say my inner child, but my past self, my 16, 17-year-old self was, out there journaling with me. And I'm going out there like that because I'm pointing to the balcony that's providing me all this beautiful light. And I just heard her singing that lyric to me. How many times do you have to see me before you see me? How many times do I have to tell you that I'm cool with all you're giving me? I feel like I've been trying to compensate so much for all the things that I went through and everything that I'm trying to avoid going through in the future, and that kind of perfectly segues into today's topic for the episode, which is all about the problem with high standards. She's cool. My inner child, my past self, even my future self, if we think about it in that way, it's how many times do I have to tell you that I'm cool with all you're giving me? You're doing enough. You're doing great. This blew my mind. I felt so much love and compassion as I was listening to the song, and I just felt seen. Because that word, that literally that line in the song, how many times do you have to see me before you see me? I literally look at myself every day at the mirror. I'm looking at myself right now in the viewfinder recording this episode, and I'm just like, how many times do I have to notice and see myself struggle before I actually go and lend a hand to help her? So yeah, that's what we're getting into for today's episode. Keep listening if you're walking with me, but let's dive in because I have some notes. Bria has some notes. Okay, so let's start by talking about why Bria's been gone. Bria's been MIA from the podcast and not so consistent in being here on the tube, being here on the podcast, showing up in my business for Dewless Bloom, showing up for all of you. Where have I been? And I put so much pressure on myself. To show up, to never miss a day of podcasting, to show my face, share my energy, share my light, that I was pouring, but I also wasn't taking the time to recharge, if that makes sense. And so I got into this mindset, or I noticed this mindset thinking of never say never. I'm gonna tell y'all a true story. I said I never wanted to sign a lease. If I never signed a lease, would you be in my kitchen with me right now? Would you be in my kitchen with me? This made me reflect. On why did I put so much pressure on myself to publish episodes, to publish things, show up in a way that wasn't authentic for me, that ultimately led to me hiding and pulling back from everything that I love. And I had to ask myself, Bria, why do you feel the need to pressure yourself? And I want you to gently ask yourself, why do you feel the need to pressure yourself? Why? I can tell you why, but I want to give you a moment to think about it. We put so much pressure on ourselves because we're trying to fit the box. We're trying to fit the mold. We're trying to appease the people that are around us and trying to get their okay, their validation, and trying to mitigate tension and uncomfortableness, all those things, when it's like we are trying to avoid that for ourselves, but we're trying to, here's what I'm trying to say. We're trying to avoid that for others, but we're causing it for ourselves. Let me check on this rice real fast. Because yes, Bria is multitasking and cooking, and she don't want to burn the rice. I actually ate the rice that my sister, who is my roommate, that I said was for her. So this is me making rice for her. So yeah, thinking about that pressure. And we sink deep into the questions of asking why, gently asking why, and getting deeper and deeper to why we even put pressure on ourselves. And I realized that for me, putting pressure on myself is a mask for my doubt. And I'm gonna say that again because it's deep. Putting pressure on myself allows me to distract myself from the doubt. Oh no, Bria, you're never gonna publish an episode. Are you sure you're gonna do that? Are you sure you're gonna show up? Are you gonna be consistent? Are you really gonna do this thing? If I say that, it's like, oh shit, can I? But instead of going to that place of can I just put pressure on myself. And I'm like, girl, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna kill it, and you're gonna boom, 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 adding up. The to-do list is so big, and I'm just like, no, I really can't do it. I'm setting myself up to fail. Literally, we're setting ourselves up to fail. And so when we put this pressure, we put this high standards on ourselves, you have to ask yourself, are you really doing this are you really doing this to help you or to distract you from your own doubt? Is it because you're scared to let yourself down? Is it because you don't trust yourself as much as you think you do? And that's a really uncomfortable question to sit with. Because it's like, of course I trust myself, but it's like, baby, you don't have to put on a show. You don't have to perform for me. Just like we were talking about, the performative mind and really likes to be for the forefront. And I don't really like to talk about the ego and all those things, but I guess you can say the way that I use performative mind is similar to the ego. You know, it's trying to protect you. It's trying to get you to do something that you wouldn't want to do. The performative mind is making you perform in ways that you wouldn't if you were alone. And that's like kind of that sense of, maybe I want to ask myself, if nobody was watching me, if nobody could share their opinion or I had no judgment, no outward opinion, what would I do? What would I do? Who would I be? And operate from that instead of the performance. Ooh, never say never. I gotta get up and do it and be positive all the time. And no, baby, It's time to be honest. It's time to be real. It's time to be truthful with yourself. It's time to see yourself in a new light. And I think what it really boils down to, why we put so much pressure and all these high standards on ourselves, is because we have this false sense of certainty. If we make these big to-do lists, we're trying to create this false sense of certainty, which is really a mask, like we said, like we were talking about. But it's like, how can we create real certainty for our inner child, for the piece of us that has doubt, for the past self that is like, girl, are you sure you can do that? Like, how can we create a sense of certainty and get her on board, get them on board? And I want you to think about creating certainty for yourself in the little things, like your morning routine, your evening routine. What time are you waking up? What time are you going to bed? Do you know what meals you're going to have tomorrow? You can create small pockets of certainty to get your nervous system and your inner child to just tone it down just a little bit, calm down a little bit, you know, give her a popsicle, you know, if like your inner child's throwing a tantrum, she's doing all this and you're like, I got you, girl. Here's your popsicle, sit down. You know, we're good. We got this, because we have to slow down our overthinking and analysis of thinking that we have to have everything figured out, and we don't. We really don't. Nobody knows what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trusting my gut and my intuition and knowing that I'm always doing things from a place of love, and I always have my best interest at heart. And I trust myself. I trust that no matter what happens today, we figure it out and we're gonna get to where we wanna go. So there's no point in making these crazy scenarios, hypotheticals, and trying to put so much fluff. I was doing this and I was like, this feels fluffy. Fluff, so much fluff around who we are. Because the high standard isn't really us. We're putting ourselves on this pedestal, but it's like, do we want to be on the pedestal in the first place? Do I want to be the perfect mom? Do I want to be the perfect daughter? Do I want to be the perfect employee? Do I want to be the perfect business person? Like, first of all, there's no real thing. There's nothing's perfect in this world, and that's what's beautiful about it. I'm so grateful that no two trees are alike. Can you imagine in cartoons how they just draw triangles and that's the tree and every tree looks the same? Boring. Imperfections are your gems. They're what make you unique. They're what make you you. There's no need to try and be a buttoned up, snazzy person if that's not you. I just want you to be the person you want to be. Who do you want to be? Release the expectation, release the high standards, and sit with yourself. Just sit with yourself. Be honest and know that no 2 days will look alike, and that we're human and that we get to be human, and things are going to get messy at times. And so it's gently asking yourself, why? When you notice yourself applying pressure, Gently ask yourself why. And literally what I just did, I took a breath. Why? Because you have to create that space for your mind, your body, your soul, and your environment all to connect. You have to feel the breath, the air around you, fill your lungs. Your mind cannot be over here, because you're literally focused on the breath and simply asking yourself why as you release. Why? Like it's meditative. It's a grounding technique and exercise that you get to do when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel yourself applying pressure. And then from there, you just listen. Listen to whatever comes up. Listen to whatever is present for you. And know that you can't do this wrong. There's no wrong way to show up for yourself. There's no wrong way to ground. It's just all about, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel when you're doing this? How do you want to feel afterwards? So I want to give you the next 3 minutes to just reflect. Reflect on everything that's come up during this time that we've shared together during this episode. And I just want to create the space for you to sit with yourself, to take that breath and ask yourself why. So the next 3 minutes are for you. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can go to the show notes and look at the reflection prompts and questions that are there. And if you're watching on YouTube, just keep watching and the questions and reflection prompts will pop up on the screen. But I want you to take this time and analyze, not even analyze, observe. There we go. Gently observe the pedestal that you put yourself on, all the roles, all the titles and the labels, and everything that you feel like you have to be, because you don't have to be anything. The word have is pressure. You get to and you choose to be those things. So I want to give you this time to observe and gently ask yourself why. And I just want to say thank you for spending some time with me, and know that I'm here for you. If you're looking for a container and a space to reflect with me, I'm here for you. My information for one-on-one coaching is always down in the show notes and in the description. So let's get connected. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, you can book a sales call with me and we can get the conversation started to see if we're a good fit to work together. But for now, these 3 minutes are for you.
anything resonated with you during this episode, pass it along to a friend. Let's continue the chain reaction of inspiration. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can stay updated with all things Dewless Bloom by joining the Village Community email list. The link is in the description below. I hope that today is everything you needed to be and more, and remember, you are an inspiration.